Hi everyone, today we are going to be talking about probability. And before we delve into the idea of probability, there are some key terms that we need to understand. So an outcome is the result of an action, and that might be rolling a dice, it might be spinning a wheel. The event it's the name that we give to an outcome or group of outcomes. And the probability of an event is a number that describes how likely it is that that event will occur. When we talk about the probability of an event, we can abbreviate it, and you might see these in the problems that we do. P being probability, and event being the name that we give to the event that we are testing the probability for. So all probabilities range in value from 0 to 1, and they can be written as fractions, decimals, or percents. So here's our number line ranging from 0 to 1, where 0 represents an impossible event, an event that will never occur, and 1 representing a certain event, an event that is definitely going to happen. So here is the range between 0 and halfway, or 0.5, or 1/2, or 50%, where the event would be less likely to happen. And if the probability of the event falls in this range between halfway and 1, then it's more likely to happen than, say, an event in this first section here. So the probability of an event is equal to the number of favorable outcomes over the total number of outcomes. And this really pertains to problems where outcomes are equally likely. And here's an example of that. Here to your left you have a spinner, and you can see that each section, there are 10 sections that this spinner is divided into, and those 10 sections are equal. So even though they may be different colors, the fact that they are equal in size means that the outcomes are equally likely. This represents 10 equally likely outcomes. So if I look at my spinner and I try and find out what the probability of spinning and landing on a blue would be, there are 3 favorable outcomes. That means 3 outcomes where this event would be true. I have 1, 2, 3 blue sections on the spinner. And the total number of outcomes, the total number of possible places that it could land are 10. There are 10 spaces on my spinner. So the probability of blue is 3 on 10. Or I could write it as a decimal, 0.3, or I could write it as a percentage, 30%. The probability of not blue would be 7 on 10, because there are 7 spaces in this spinner that would be favorable for this event of not blue. And again, the total number of outcomes is 10. So 7 on 10, or 0.7, or 70%. So on our number line that represents our probability values from 0 to 1, 0 being impossible and 1 being certain, the probability of blue lies here, which means it's less likely to happen than the probability of not blue, which lies here. Let's say we had a problem that asked us to find the probability of rolling an even number in one roll of the dice. So here we have our dice, and we know from a regular dice that it ranges from 1 through 6. Each side has one of those numbers on it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if we're finding the probability of rolling an even number, there are 3 favorable outcomes for the event that we call even, and they are 2, 4, and 6. And 2, 4, and 6 are all even, so they are known as our favorable outcomes. There are 6 total outcomes. There are 6 possible sides of the dice that could land facing up when I roll it. It could land on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So the probability of even is 3 over 6. 3 being the number of favorable outcomes, and 6 being the total number of outcomes. And we can simplify this to 1 over 2, or 1/2.